Rockabye niggas all on the block. When the guns blow, then niggas will drop. When your dough gone, your livelihood fall, and down will come niggas fatal and all.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Ras X, and I'm back with another episode of Storytime Wit Ras. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about the time where I was almost recruited by the Bloods. And this was a crazy time period. This was around 98, 99. I was in middle school. I'm guessing in about the 7th or 8th grade. I was about probably 12 or 13, right? So, as for those that don't know, I went to middle school 118, William W. Nels middle school. So it's over there by like East Tremont and 3rd Ave, right? So every day before school, like I started around the 7th and 8th grade. What I would do is I would go in this park. Usually me and my like just random dudes from the school, from my class and stuff, like, we would go in that park before school started. So I think we had to be to school by like 8 o'clock or some shit like that, to report to the cap and before homeroom. So usually around like 7:40 something, about we'd be in that park for maybe like 15 to maybe 30 minutes before school started, right? So on this particular day, I remember like yesterday I went by myself because I didn't see none of them, like hanging outside the school building. So I just went to the park by myself. So long story short, right, I'm there, right, I'm sitting there, and it was this kid, and this was around, as you don't know, like the 90s. That was a time when Bloods and gangs was really popping. Like I believe it started around like 93, around that time when Bloods came to New York. So like this dude, he was like a little older than me. He was black, and he had the red flag and shit, the scarf on and stuff like that. And he came up to me and he was like, yo, we doing so many things tonight, later today or whatever. Like, he was like, yo, if you wanna come through, and he was like telling me the shit. And then, at that time, and keep this though, at that time, it was a lot of shit going on, like, as far as home life. There was a lot of, like, traumatic shit going on. I'm not gonna get into the full details, but it was like a lot going on in the home life. So, I think that kid knew that. He was probably like, like a teenager, like, probably closer to his 20s. So I think he saw that in me, that I needed some type of, like, brotherhood or something like that. And like an older figure, like a family. So like I think he saw that, right? And then so I thought about it, and then I immediately what popped in my head was my mother. And as I said many times before, she saved my life out there, because I would have been dead in jail if I would have done that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I knew if I would have went to that thing, she would have killed me, because she was a teacher. She was a sub teacher, a long-term sub, and she taught me. And if the word would have got back that I had joined some gang or some shit like that, I would have never been able to live that down. And I didn't want to like disappoint her. So I was like, nah, yo. I was like, yo, I'm good, yo. And then the dude, he was like, all right, cool. And then and then he just left. You know what I mean? And I went to the school like nothing happened. You know what I mean? And for those that don't know, I'm so thankful I didn't do that, because like that road leads to nowhere. For me being older, they try to get you when you're younger, because that's when you have to develop a bond. Usually kids that join gangs is like, they don't have a family, you know what I mean? Like they're looking for like brotherhood and shit like that, protection. And they usually get you younger when you could like bond. A nigga joining the gang at 40 makes no fucking sense, right? As a grown man, unless you were like maybe in prison, I could see that happening. But to do that shit, like if you already got your career set and shit like that, but like But don't get it twisted. Like as they say in gang terms, like I'm a neutral, but like as I got older, that kind of path is still present. So like I was always around Bloods and Crips and all that, and I felt comfortable. Like I wasn't like afraid or nothing. Like they was treating me like, you know, like I was one of their own. And that's what happens, like when you don't choose like a side, what happens is you're around both gangs, Blood, Crips, maybe even Latin Kings. You know what I'm saying? So like I was affiliated once with like some neighborhood shit in my 20s, like some, you know, the dude was a Blood or whatever, but then he had some other shit going, so I was fucking with that for a minute. And but yeah, that was like young shit, you know what I mean? So it was like you know, but as I said, I was always like around it, you know what I mean, like around it. So like I know some of the codes and shit, how it goes, the signs and shit like that. You know, they be doing shit like that. They be doing, you know, they say like 031. If I would have chose, like the Bloods. That would have been like my set or whatever that I would have been rocking with. You know, I would have been with that. You know what I'm saying? So you know, so but yeah, I got my own shit. It's called the RAS game, Rebel Against Society. So my shit is like that. You know what I'm saying? So I created that shit myself. You know what I mean? Like, but that's just some shit I do when I'm fuck society and shit like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I wouldn't join if because I was like looking, as I said, brotherhood, you know what I mean? Like that type of tight knit bonding. You know what I mean? And just, you know, fuck everybody. You know what I mean? That type of shit. And that's why some niggas join too, where it's like, fuck everybody. Niggas, white, Spanish, all everybody, Asians. So that's why a lot of that shit is done off rage and shit. You know what I mean? So like from what I've seen from being around them. But that was a little long, but I just wanted to tell this little story, you know what I mean, to y'all. And yo, so I forgot to mention, the park was called Walter Garwin Park on East Fremont and 3rd Ave. That's where the shit took place. You know what I mean? So that was a park name. You know what I mean? But until next time, peace.